right, Katrina and Christina are going to be out among you for questions, and we will unmute Simon if the question is for him. So who has a question for either Jim or Simon? Lisa?
Thanks. This question is for Simon. It's Lisa Midegg, and I'm the new director of Nicola Activation, which is our downtown mall, which is in the middle of a multi-year reconstruction renovation. And when you think of activation and when you think of us revising our ordinance and our design guidelines, Simon, have you got like maybe a quick list of regulatory hurdles we should watch for that might inhibit four-season activation?
Simon doesn't have any quick lists. Just kidding.
There's a lot of things that can be done. Shorthand is I would kind of download the Winter City design guidelines, which are all online on the link I published. You can just Google Edmonton Winter City design and then download it, and there's a lot of the materials in there. One of the things we're actually changing is the zoning code so that to make it more winter city centric than what it was previously. So we're doing that, and the idea, of course, is like the Copenhagen example I provided, sometimes the change that we're after isn't going to happen in 2 minutes. It might take a generation to achieve. So the idea of getting this kind of radical change is that it can happen, but it can happen incrementally. But it needs to have relentless progress, that every year we're doing something to move the ball a little bit down the field. Some years it moves down the field by inches, other years by yards, but that we're having relentless progress to kind of get the radical change that we're after. When you're kind of redeveloping malls and so forth, I mean, the big thing is, like I said, it starts with, are we designing out the wind and are we putting people in the sun? Are we creating, you have to work so much harder to make it successful in January. So the attention to the detail of the ground floor, that first 30 feet, having smaller bays as much as possible is really critical. Having more glazing, not less glazing is really critical as well to get the kind of transparency. I don't know if the public realm's like out adjacent to the space as well, but obviously the type of the public realm, the design of it, how it drains, how the sun hits it, the type of landscaping that you employ in it, the architectural lighting you're using it, the landscape lighting in it, all those things have to be considered and factored in to doing it. But I'd be happy to talk about it in more detail a little later if you connect with me and talk about it a little bit further. But the design guidelines are kind of like an easy tool that anybody can use to get some of these ideas. But to get more granular, I'm happy to talk about it offline in more detail if you want.
Other questions? Lucy?
Hi, Lucy's my boss.
I'm sorry. I'm nearsighted.
I'm Catherine Hansen. I work at the TOD office, but my question has to do with the entity that manages the operations and maintenance of these exciting projects. What type of entity, public or private, has been, most successful with keeping up that level of activity and maintenance and operation?
Jim, you want to take that?
Jim probably has a couple comments on this, but my experience is that one of the biggest problems with great design is that even if some people are amenable to spending the capital, nobody ever wants to spend the O&M, and the dollars simply aren't there to do the O&M properly. And one of the challenges we have is that you come up with something, and for example, the parks people will say, well, we can't do that, that costs way too much money to maintain, and you got to dumb it down in terms of the standard you're building it to. So one of the things we've tried to do is to obviously take it political, and with taking it political, one of the things we try to do is have, if we can get some kind of social license politically to kind of, within the Parks Department, almost treat it as two different groups. So almost have one group that's dedicated towards the truly urban public spaces and public realms, so that they have different equipment, different training, and so forth. because too often the Parks Department is a universal approach to how they're going to do maintenance. So whether it's a more suburban type of area or a more urban area, they almost want to treat it the same. So they want to have the same garbage receptacles, minimize the maintenance. Basically, all they want to do is basically pick up the trash and cut the grass, and that's it. So it really requires having a separation within the departments and different training and a different focus, so that you're not treating things universally. But to require that, which is what some other cities have done successfully, it requires, it's not going to come from the Parks Department, it's going to have to come from the political level pushing it down. That's been my experience. But if you don't do that, then we're going to get dumbed down public spaces that really just don't really serve the public interest that well.
My experience has been that the types of projects we do are very specialized systems, water features with a lot of control, refrigeration plants with big equipment, Zambonis that we all love to drive, but there's a little challenge sometimes driving those. That oftentimes it works best if they bring in a specialty operational consultant for some of the things like for ice. But we've also seen some of those people, they bring in people every year, a new group of people, young people, to operate. These organizations get pretty big, they say they're specialized in ice, but they're only as good as the people that are there. For instance, I was just at Maggie Daly Park about a month ago, and they've been complaining about during the warmer season where the water's running down and it's doing a lot of damage to the ice. So I go over there and look at it, I go, okay, yeah, but now the ice is 6 inches thick. You're supposed to keep it 2 inches thick. The scuppers we've designed to get the water off the ice are completely blocked. Well, we did that 2 years in a row. I mean, sometimes it doesn't change. So I think the answer is you have to, first of all, have a lot of finesse. You have to know what you're getting. And I think bringing in the expertise, the best expertise you can for the types of amenities you have. But certainly, even the experts have to be carefully selected because some of them oversell their services and their capabilities. And so I don't know if there's any really clear answer. We have public works, parks people that are some of the most conscientious people. They are running very well some of these amenities, but it comes down to the characters that they have there, the type of culture they built within their parks and recs as far as taking care of things and maintaining and understanding. And so we usually go through a training session. We go through, intro to ice, intro to water kind of stuff with these clients. The problem is a lot of times the right people aren't there when you're doing that. You're educating the project manager for the project who is on to the next project later. So there's a lot of challenges with that. There's no question about it. I don't think there's any clear answer, but it is definitely something that has to be paid attention to. And we try to do that with a lot of attention to education, as well as bringing contractors back for extended warranties, where they have to go through a startup shutdown period for 2 years rather than one, where everybody forgets that there is the wrong people aren't there the first year, or they don't get it videoed. So again, it's a challenging thing, but I maybe haven't given you a good answer, but the real answer of what we run into in these facilities.
But the real answer is it's a really important question, and you really need to think about it. When we did our Heart of the City project, we thought moms would come with toddlers and they would dangle their toes in the water. Well, lo and behold, it became a water park, and with so many kids in the water so much, we had to actually chlorinate the water, which nobody thought about. So I think the main answer is it really is important and needs to be thought about. I'm going to exercise the prerogative of declaring a break at this point, and we'll come back at 25 to 11. And please hold your questions. If you have more questions, we'll have ample time for that at the back. Thanks again to Simon and Jim.